to not stand with all your might. In the shell, we ignite. Truth to the battle, trust the night. Rebels rise, hear the sound. Metal echoes all around.
Good Saturday morning.
What's happening, everybody?
Just not Vietnam.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah, we got nothing on Robin Williams.
No, nothing. That's for sure.
Not at all.
Anyway, we are supposed to have a special guest on today. We kind of got some miscommunication going on, so hopefully we can get them on here soon. I didn't share the link to the thing until this morning, so that's on me. Apologize for that, but
well, that's on both of us because I had it, but yeah, I had it, forgot that I had it, and so we got it sent over to the band. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
So hopefully they'll see it and log in here shortly.
Yeah.
Come on, so.
So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, we are back. For those of you that don't know, like we were off last week because I was out of town for my dad's memorial. That was last Saturday. A lot of people came out. Some unexpected people came out. A lot of people I hadn't seen in a good 20 years in
Wow.
some cases. So yeah, there were a lot of people that came. A lot of people that I didn't know, but I mean, I think there were some old classmates, people I would have never met anyway.
Right.
So a lot of people showed up. It turned out really well, and it was good to see so many people come to pay respects to my dad and all that. So it was good to see the family. Sucked that it had to be because of that, but
Right.
So we're all moving on best we can. But so won't dwell too much on that. But we are back after that. So hopefully things will calm down because I mean I know that we've had a lot of weeks off over the last month. So we
Here's Jake.
we appreciate everybody being patient with us and sticking around. We know we've been gone quite a lot over the last 5 weeks or so. So we appreciate everybody. So.
Yeah. So we do have one of the members showed up in the back stage area here, so we'll bring them out.
That's all we need. We just need one.
We just need one. Then we'll bring in Jake from Reptilian. Hey, what's up,
Jake?
What is up?
What's happening?
Oh, same old. How's you guys?
Good.
We're all right, man. Thank you.
Sorry about the miscommunication. I shared the link with Chris, but because he had been communicating with you guys, and he's like, "Why didn't?" Because I shared it like normal, like it wasn't nothing special about like, "Hey, forward this" or anything like that. So he didn't.
Yeah.
So,
and it was the funny thing is it was like 9 days ago too. I mean, because I checked back and looked at the date on it once he told me he sent it in Messenger. And I looked at the date and it was like July 3rd. I was like, oh, shit. I had it the whole time. But
all good.
So, yeah, that was my fault.
So glad it worked out. So,
yeah.
So this is kind of, I guess, one of the odd shows for us because we aren't accustomed to talking with anybody here in the state. So it's really cool to get focus on our area, on the show as well. Cause like I said, we don't get a lot of that representation on here. So it's really cool to get to talk to you guys. And I like that because I like for everybody to know that Tennessee's not just a country music territory.
Right.
And I think we get, everybody gets caught up in that. And I like anytime I can get a Tennessee band on, it's awesome because I can, nope. We do metal here, so
yep. Where are y'all based out of?
So
Columbia.
I'm in Columbia, yes.
Okay, down in Columbia. Cool.
Yeah. So you guys, you've been at it since what 2020 or something?
Yeah, late 2020 is when we first got together, and started jamming, and I think it was mid 2021 before we were starting to play gigs and stuff. But we've been together a while.
So was this kind of like a pandemic come together, or?
Yeah, well, I had moved to Nashville kind of 2019, and I was, looking around for bands, and I, saw it was Rob at first who was like, "Hey, looking for a band, let's jam or whatever." So I had always kind of been looking, and then COVID hit, and then it was like, "Oh, well, okay, now it was, I think it was November when we got together of 2020."
Okay. So like you guys did like so is the demo was that like a release as well or because I know it's like we see it as that but is it like a release like was it a press release or just digital only?
We made some CDs of it.
Okay.
But yeah, it was mostly digital.
Sorry, I was trying
Yeah,
to
because I actually listened to it this morning on the way home from work. Of course, I listened to the EP and the LP pretty much off and on all night, which is good. The good thing is I work at GM, so I mean all I got to do is put my little headphones on and I can listen to music all night. So I had them queued up to play alternately, like pretty much off and on all night. Well, last night and the last two nights actually, I was making sure I was all caught up with it because when you guys had sent us the email talking about the EP, I had pretty much listened to it right away because we knew of you guys because of our relationship with Dana. So and we'll talk about Dana here in just a second, how you guys met him and everything, because the EP came out middle of May. So I mean the EP has actually been out for quite a while. So how has it been received so far?
It seems like everyone loves it. I mean, we don't usually get people coming up and saying anything negative to us, so it's hard to really gauge. No one goes, "Hey, man, I listened to your stuff and I think it sucks." Usually those people just kind of walk away, but
yeah.
if they exist, I'm still not sure. But no, people, I know we really stepped it up on the production side. We got to work with Nathan Yarborough, who is a fantastic engineer, producer guy. We got to go to a real studio and get some expensive mics and put it through a Neve console and do all this stuff.
So recorded locally too.
Oh yeah, we over on Music Row. Where else?
Nice.
Where else to
Right.
record it?
Very nice. Yeah.
So when we was looking at you guys, like I know you guys have an encyclopedia Metallica, but it's not really up to date. So it was kind of
Oh, we do?
interesting. Yeah. So it's yeah. It's
Yeah,
like,
you do.
yeah. I don't know who created it for you guys, but it's
Huh.
on there.
So
So
I should update that.
but anyway, I seen on there like whoever did it kind of pinned you guys as a progressive metal band, which I really don't agree with. Which was kind of when I think progressive, I think more Dream Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm
Dream
kinda,
Theater,
yeah, I
definitely.
don't really get it. So I feel like you guys were more influenced by bands like Motorhead and bands like that. When I listen to you guys, I feel like that's kind of where I hear a lot of influence from. Whether it is or not, I don't know. That's just kind of what I took from it. So kind of go through with what you guys, what kind of influences you guys have from other bands.
Well, we have a wide variety of influences, and we try to keep all of our songs, different enough that there's some bands that okay, we're a thrash metal band. All of our songs sound like Metallica songs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's just our thing. We try. Okay, this song is going to be a little more like a hard rock song. This one's going to be like a hardcore song. This one's going to be like a doom metal song. This one's going to be like a thrash metal song. We try to break it up, and yeah, I guess that I think we're progressive. We play some parts of we're not
Mhm.
totally the Handle Dream Theater 20-minute song
Right.
crazy, that sort of stuff. But we have, it's not just straightforward stuff. We always try to throw in something a little more interesting than, an Inner Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, we have a lot of influences. I'm more kind of into the doom sludge type of stuff.
I can absolutely hear that.
Right.
100%. I can 100% hear that.
Like I'm big into Sleep, Mastodon, the Melvins, and of course all the classics. Metallica and Slayer and Megadeth and Motorhead and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, Rob and Zach are both big Tool guys. Oh, and I'm a big Rush guy as far as progressive. And Chris is really big into the punk type of stuff. And so the blending of all of our influences is really opens up, the realm. It's not like I said earlier, we're not just on one track. Like here's our, Megadeth impression. It's just what do we want to do today? We want to. It's kind of a punk sort of song, but we can put a doom metal riff in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was when I read that. I'm kind of like, I mean, to me, just pinpointing bands like you guys into one category seems a little unfair to me. It's kind of, it kind of creates a false sense to the fans. I think because not no stab at you guys, whoever created the website,
right?
It's kind of, or whoever created the input on the website, I guess I should say, kind of puts you guys into a one-dimensional thing, which you guys are definitely not one-dimensional.
No,
kind of just what you were talking about. I was kind of going to go into that, is how you guys are so diverse with jumping from one genre of metal to a different one, and which we always say on here, metal's metal to us. We don't we don't really care about the progressive, and we grew up on thrash, so I guess we're going to be kind of more lenient toward that, but yeah, we listen to a little bit of everything, and so and like you said, I heard doom metal in there. I've heard I heard some progressive stuff, yes, but and that's what I kind of said, is just to pinpoint you guys into one box. It's kind of that's not who Reptilian is. So that's why I wanted you to kind of say kind of set the record straight. So
we should have a new genre. Multi-dimensional metal.
There you go. Y'all, that'd be awesome, dude. I think a lot of bands would fit more into that category than anything. So
right, metal people love categories. I
don't understand that.
They're always like trying to. Oh, this is like Black and Norwegian death metal. Mm-hmm. No, wait, that has more of a Swedish sound to it. And it's like, who cares? It's metal.
It's metal, yeah. That's kind of like when we do our like reviews on albums and stuff. We usually try to like push something in there to where, hey, if you like this band, then you'll like this. That's kind of the way we do it. It's not like, we always talk about that because that's the way that's kind of written up. Is there, because we do somebody and they're like, oh, well, they're considered a thrash metal band. We kind of include that, but it's kind of like we kind of give our own take on that as well in the review, because a lot of times I'm like, they consider them a thrash metal band, but I don't know why. Yeah. It's like, right. So it's really depends on who's doing the article on the review.
Absolutely.
Because it's all, just like ours, it's personal opinion. It's, not, somebody may hear something that we don't like and love it. It's kind of, because for one, we're not death metal guys, and we've said that a lot on here. I have been leaning a lot more toward the death core, because it's, it's combining two different sounds of metal together, and that's kind of, I think that's kind of where a lot of bands are doing now, is they're trying to find a common denominator with two different ones and mash them together and make it sound like something new and something different, and like a lot of times it works out. So I think a lot of it is in the eye of the beholder, like you were saying, because we have people come up to us pretty much without fail after each show. They're like, man, you guys sound just like Gwar. And it's like, but it's every different type of band. It's like, man, you guys sound just like some band I've never heard of. I asked the other guys, have you guys ever heard of this band? They're like, no clue. Like, okay. Some guys said we sound just like them. So it's really, we heard like, you guys sound just like Slipknot. Like, I don't get that at all. No one else.
I can't say I heard too much Slipknot in there.
Yeah, so I think it's really, my favorite band is Slipknot. I listen to these guys and I like them. They must sound like Slipknot. burp.
Hey, I actually think there's some credence to that. I really do.
Mm.
But I mean, there's definitely no pigeonholing you guys into one
No.
category, like Jason said. Sometimes it's a lot more cut and dry, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with listening to Exodus and knowing they're a thrash metal band, and that's what
Yeah.
you're gonna get.
They do it well.
Yeah. So I mean,
Right.
there's nothing wrong with knowing what you're gonna get, but there's also nothing wrong with not knowing what you're gonna get either. So I mean, there's definitely no problem with either thing. And one of the things that Jason and I especially have come across, like over the last few years of doing this, I mean, just the stuff we've discovered, and kind of, we talked about categories, like some of these new categories that have come across and stuff that we've been turned on to has been really impressive.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I liked about listening to, everything that you guys have put out so far is the fact that you really can't pigeonhole you guys to one category. Like, I heard a lot of Mastodon in there, and I'm glad you mentioned it, because I was like, there is like, to my ear, because
Right, exactly.
you, like Jason said, you never know who's going to listen to your stuff and who they're going to pick out. I mean, you mentioned Slipknot. To me, that's kind of a miss, but
Right.
that's just me. So I mean, I don't necessarily think you can kind of really get a wrong answer unless you listen to your guys' stuff and like, hey, you guys sounded just like Willie Nelson. It's like, okay, well, that's a complete swing and a miss. But I mean,
Yeah.
I think as long as I kind of think as long as you're in the ballpark, as long as you're in the metal arena, I don't really think you
Yeah.
can necessarily go wrong. I wouldn't have necessarily said Guar either, but hey, who the hell am I? I mean, I haven't listened to every heavy metal band in history, so I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But at the same time, that was one of the things I liked. And Jason already mentioned the diversity, and to me, especially listening to the LP that you guys put out, one of the things on that is I was kind of blown away by the diversity in just the vocals on the LP.
Mhm.
Right.
That was incredible how many different vocal styles were on that.
Yeah.
There's no way that was just one guy doing all those vocals. There's no way. Was there?
Nope. It's me and Chris.
Okay.
Yeah. We have the dual vocal approach, which is really nice because me and Chris have different vocal styles. So I guess we have
Yeah.
like 4 at least,
I would say.
Both of us do clean, and like Chris does like a really harsh, and I can do like a more low thing and kind of a medium thing. So combining those together really helps the palette be more wide open.
Yeah. Yeah. I counted it. Let's see, I counted at least 4 different. So I'm glad you said that. I counted at least 4 different vocals. I mean, there were cleans, there were screams, there were borderline gutturals. I don't think there was anything completely, bottom of the abdomen down in the literally down in the bottom of your soul gutturals on the album. But I mean, I was still kind of blown away by the diversity. Now, who did the intro to Animal? Whose vocals were that?
That was Chris.
That was Chris, because that was like, holy shit, where did that come from?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. But one of the things that I liked from the LP moving ahead to the EP was actually kind of how the cleans kind of matured. I don't know if you guys felt that way from the LP to the EP, but that was kind of one of the things vocally that stood out to me. It seemed like the clean vocals had kind of matured from that album to the LP, to the EP rather. I'm sorry. So in a good way, of course, I felt like they stepped up. They were a little more melodic. I don't know if that's kind of what you were going for, but that's kind of, there's a little more melody, a little bit more rhythm to the cleans and everything. Like I say, at least to my ears. So, but I was impressed by that, the way the cleans kind of seem to mature. Can they evolve and mature? So,
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, we try to make sure to always have melodic, because there's a large contingency of the metal listeners that are, oh, I love metal, but if there's screams in it, I don't know, man. I'm sure we all know those guys.
Oh yeah.
But so we try to keep it like, and I like melody,
Mhm.
Sometimes I get tired of, I put on, nails, and it's just like, like
Right.
it's 9 in the morning. I need to listen to something else. If it's later on, okay, it's nails time, but
Yeah.
we trying to have it. People who like melody, we got you covered. People who like screaming, we got some of that for you too. That goes back to us, trying to be broad.
So what you're saying is that everybody, those guys that don't like screaming, just hate hair metal altogether, right?
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, and that you're right, man, Jake. There are those guys that are out there, but I mean, then you must not listen to a whole lot of metal then, because I mean,
Yeah, that's like, it seems like those guys like, oh, well, what's your favorite band? Like, man, I love Nickelback. I love 3 Days Grace, and it's like, oh, okay, so radio metal.
yeah, I mean, that's pretty
On the
much
borderline of rock.
yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what it boils down to. I mean, if people are like that, I don't know. It seems a little strange. It's a strange hill to die on because I mean that's the and God we've talked about this so many times too. So I feel like I'm kind of like beating a dead horse, but the fact that heavy metal literally has a little bit of something for everyone. I mean, that's fine. So you can find what you're looking for, but if you're not willing to kind of give shit a chance, because you mentioned, the Black and Norwegian death metal and stuff like that. I mean, I've tried before, a few times, and that one's not for me. But there are people who love it, and that's fine, and that's what we love about it. May not be for us, but there's a niche for every kind of heavy metal that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's been stuff that Jason and I have turned each other onto, having done this as long as we have at this point, 4.5 years. We both have our foundation in thrash, like we've said, and we've it kind of branches out from there. Jason goes one way, I go the other, and we kind of cross paths and introduce, each other to, hey, I listen to this. Hey, I listen to this. Check this out. So the collaboration between the two of us has expanded our horizons in just heavy metal. So, my wife gives me shit. She's like, you need to, because my wife will listen to literally anything, all the way. She'll listen to metal. She'll listen to opera. She'll listen to country music. She'll listen to, she's from Louisiana, so she'll even listen to Zydeco every now and then. Because I mean, that's music that her family listened to when she was growing up. So she does have a much broader spectrum as far as music as a whole. But she's always like, you need to open your mind a little bit, and I'm like, I really don't. So, I mean, I don't need to, but as far as, my heavy metal fandom, I mean, I've definitely broadened my heavy metal fandom and my horizon, a lot since starting this podcast, out of necessity, for one, being a content creator, but just out of, just doing the research for the show, just discovering so much more stuff. This show has just been a godsend, really. Because I mean, there was a lot of stuff I was listening to before the show started, but now it's just like, holy shit. I mean, I knew there was a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot.
I mean, if you look at it, we probably eyeball 50 some odd releases every week. Of course, we can't listen to all of those.
Right. I wish we could.
We get as much as we can, but
wish we could.
Just to think how much diversity is probably in those lists that we don't listen to. So,
right.
It's crazy. It's how much you can't keep up, man. It's like,
yeah, metal's a great creative category that, seems like a lot of people of all types, they come to metal and they come in, not seeking fame, not seeking money, because you're not going to really get that if you make this weird metal album. So they just come in and create what they want to create, and it's, always their thing. So,
Yep.
I want to give a shout out to Hank Hill in the comments. He said this has got to be the most underrated channel on YouTube. You guys always have awesome interviews and stuff. Keep it up. I appreciate that, Hank.
Damn. Thank you, Hank. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. He's been following us here for a little bit there, so it's kind of cool that he's still hanging around and commenting. So we appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you, Hank.
Yep, but we still got stuff coming, so we do. We're definitely keeping it up as much as we can. So,
So Jake, you said you moved to Nashville in 2019. Where did you move there from?
I came from Topeka, Kansas.
Oh, nice. Midwest.
Yep.
Midwest.
So now
Nice.
he's like, man, Tennessee don't have windmills. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I was like, does Nashville have music besides the band Kansas?
All right. Yeah. It's funny. Like I actually,
Good question.
my daughter was living in Colorado Springs at one point, and I had to go up and move her back. So when we were driving, I was like, man, this has got to be the worst drive ever through that part of Kansas. It's like, geez.
Yeah.
I mean, like I think that's another thing too. It's like we talk about how certain things get bad reps. I think that's like traveling. Sometimes you'll travel through certain parts of some states, and like, ooh, I never want to visit this thing. But you're not going through the happening part of the state, so it's kind of like if you went into the main cities and stuff, then you probably see a lot more activity. I guess
right.
All I've seen was farms and windmills. I'm just like, Jesus.
Yeah, and to a certain point, there stops being trees.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, it was at one point I was like, is that a rest area? I can't even tell.
Yeah. Like Western Kansas is like incredibly flat and barren. Pretty much you look at like, the what do you call the maps that have the colors like, oh, it's green.
Oh yeah.
The very eastern strip of Kansas is green. And then everything besides that's all brown. So yeah, you're driving there, and it's like, okay, there's trees, and then pretty soon you're like, oh, it's just kind of all brown, huh? It's brown for 6 more hours.
But it's yeah. But the thing, like I noticed traveling too. Like, I know we're getting off the subject a little bit, but
that's what we do here.
We always do. But like traveling, I've also noticed that. I always hear like, oh, well, farmlands are dying. I'm just like, where? The hell, I'm like, everywhere I go, I'm running into big ass farms. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing there's a part of the country that where we still have that. So
exactly. Well, I mean, I did that trip to Arkansas. I seen stuff, and even when I was going to Michigan, I seen some stuff up in there. When I was going to the Mackinac Island, I seen.
Mm-hmm.
I got on that one highway where there wasn't really, much of nothing but trees and highways. So,
yep.
But yeah, there's plenty of farms. That's what I'm saying. There's plenty of farms out there. So I don't know. I mean, there are, of course, I think there is like, we're seeing that more here now where, people that run the farms are passing away or something. Their kids don't want to mess with it. So they're just like, we'll just sell it to some developer and let them build, 2,000 houses.
I hate that.
Let them build 2,000 houses we don't need. So
yeah.
I hate that so much.
2,000 houses with super high rent that no one will pay for.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's like, I see that stuff all the time. I'm like, who the hell is paying for this stuff? Because I mean, that stuff's ridiculous, dude.
And it's happening everywhere around here.
Oh yeah, it is. And so, well, as what the old saying is, what goes up must come down at some point. So,
well, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, we went through it before in 2008 to 2010. So it's
that's true.
It's definitely probably something that's probably going to revisit itself. I'm sure. So yeah. We were talking about the vocals on that, and I had a couple of notes on that too when I was listening to the Heat Death album. I noticed like that Flesh Cutters. I kind of got a Wednesday 13 vibe from the vocals on that one. And then when I was listening to the newer record, that's when I was telling you about the Lemmy. I got a little Lemmy vibe from that Non-Human song. So it's kind of like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like you guys aren't like, you're not picking a track and staying on it, which is great. I mean, because
I love that. Yeah,
I do love that because I think a lot of people get bottled up into stuff. I mean, we've seen it with like Disturbed and, bands like that where people just like, oh, they all sound the same. AC/DC is even kind of one of the, even Angus Young jokes about that. But
they're AC/DC's totally in on the joke too.
Yeah. They don't care. It's like,
no.
It's like, oh, I think somebody told Angus, I made 15 albums that sound the same. He said, no, we've made 16 albums that sound the same.
Totally in on the joke. Yeah. Self-aware though, so it's good.
But the thing is like it's still relative to enough fans. So I mean,
it works.
One guy says something negative, and it's just like we talked about with Disturbed. Everybody kept griping until they actually changed something. And, well, this don't sound like Disturbed. Well,
Make up your mind. Yeah, make up your mind.
Double-edged sword.
It's totally a double-edged sword. But
so it's kind of, I think that's kind of where a lot of bands are, though. It's kind of like you guys. It's kind of like, oh, we're going to make this one, then we're going to make this one, then we're going to make this, and we're going to make that, and then you kind of sprinkle a little bit of everything in there. That way, nobody can say, oh, well, this don't sound like Reptilian. Well, Reptilian has never sounded like Reptilian, so
Right.
that's true. That's true. That is true.
Are you guys familiar with the band King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard?
Oh yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I confess I haven't heard much of their stuff, but I do know of them. There's been a couple of stories that we've talked about of theirs on the show before. So yeah, I am aware of them. Honestly, can't say I've heard much of their stuff though, to be honest with you. But I kind of need to. I need to kind of check some of their stuff out. So
with all this genre bending talk, they are the kings of genre bending.
Oh, okay.
They have albums that are, to me, well, they have 2 metal albums.
Okay.
The latest one, Petrodragonic Apocalypse, is like one of the top metal albums of all time.
Oh,
And-
okay.
but the album before that, or the album after that, is a completely techno album.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
And yeah, they've made a jazz album, they made an acoustic album, they make a
Oh,
lot
wow.
of prog rock albums, and it's just all over the place, which is like, they're one of my favorite bands. I'm going to New York to see them a few weeks from now.
Nice.
They've really inspired me as far as outside of the box. They've got an album that's kind of like a compilation album, I'd say, but it's all new songs. Where the first song is, crazy 20-minute psych rock song. The next song is like a pop song. Then the third song is the best metal song you've ever heard. And it's just like after that, wow.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, I'll definitely check some of their stuff. Even if it's not one of the metal albums, but I mean just to know that a band definitely doesn't rest on their laurels and they're literally throwing their hat into every ring. I kind of like that.
It's
They'll at least dabble in everything. I can appreciate that.
in a way, it's like and the amount of albums they put out about 2 albums a year.
Oh, wow. They probably got rage. They're trying to keep up with rage now.
Or something. Yeah. They in 2023 they put out 5 albums.
Good
wow.
Lord. Holy.
Yeah. And it's just like an amount of like work they put into recording their music and making their music is just like, it kind of ruins all other bands, because like here I am waiting for a new Mastodon album. It's been, 2021 when the last one came out, and it's 4 years later, still nothing. Here I am waiting for a new Tool album. That's been since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
In that span of time, King Gizzard has put out fucking 10 albums.
Yeah. You don't really, I mean, when there are bands putting out that much stuff, I mean, you don't, and people find out about it, it's like, all right, man, what do you got going on? I mean, and especially in Tool's case, because I mean,
well, they can afford to. That's why they do it.
Well,
They
they
can
can,
afford
but I
to.
mean, but at the same time, it's not like you have lineup issues, because I mean, we all know that all know what Mastodon has been going through here lately.
Right.
So it's like, ugh. But,
Yeah.
And everyone in Tool, because who was it that? Because we actually talked about, was it Danny Carey? I can't remember It was one of the guys in Tool talking about, I don't know if we can wait this many years between.
Yeah,
albums.
it was Danny. He was
Danny?
actually mad, but that they've already waited this long. He said, we got to step on the gas, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, because he was like, we're all in our 60s now. We can't fuck around, anymore. So, and that's true.
Well, Metallica said the same thing. When they put out the last album, they're just like, oh, we can't wait 6 years to do another one. We got to,
No, you can't.
I'm for that. Go ahead, put out a new album. Even if it sucks, it's something.
Well, that's definitely true.
Man, between 10,000 Days and Fear Inoculum, what was it? 10,000 Days in like 04 or something, and Fear Inoculum, 15 years.
Yeah,
So
that's a
like-
long time.
You should count yourself lucky that you have fans left.
right.
Like,
That is true.
Well, I mean, it's funny that you say that, because I know a few friends of mine that are big Tool fans actually lost interest in them. They said, "Man, I waited 13 years for the same album that I heard in 2004."
Right.
I was like, I mean, you got a point, I guess.
Yeah, that was I heard a lot of I
Yeah,
heard a
and
lot of that when
that was
new album
from
came out.
Tool fans. So if you're
Yeah,
pissing off the Tool fans, that's kind of
yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, my rebuttal was, I've been telling you that for 20 years, but
I do that before.
Yeah.
I do that after the album, the first album,
Yeah.
after Sober and all that, it kind of got like, okay, this is going the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, I've really never made any bones about not being like the biggest Tool fan, but when I listen to the new, I
they got
listen,
good stuff though. I mean, they do.
they do, but I mean that like I listened to the new album when it came out, and then I was like, man, people waited that long for that. I was like, I was like, this literally doesn't sound like anything different than what they've put out recently. So I can understand why people are pissed.
Yeah, it's funny because I actually lean more toward Perfect Circle when I listen to anything of Jane Maynard stuff. So
Yeah, I can kind of echo that. I think, yeah, I think
I don't know why. I just kind of lean more toward that because I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
really. It doesn't sound like a whole lot different, but it's enough.
Well, Maynard definitely doesn't. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like you can't like say vocally it's anything different because it's the same guy. But
right, yeah.
That I don't know if he just doesn't have a whole lot of range to change up anything. I'm not sure, but
Yeah. He definitely stays in his lane vocally.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I guess it's hard to stray vocally. You've only got your voice.
that's true.
That is true. That is true.
So I guess I kind of know the answer to this probably, but I'm going to ask it. So you guys had the full length in 23. So what was the decision to just do an EP this time?
Well, we're looking at it. We've got a bunch of songs stacked up in the unreleased bin at the moment.
Nice.
So we're categorizing them. We have another full length that we're about to start recording now.
Oh, nice.
And a lot of those songs were around at that time too. Was it really? Wait a minute. 2023? Man. Yeah. We've had some of those songs for a long time. Yeah, we figured that those, I think we actually had a few more that we were thinking. We didn't have enough for a full album for the Cold Blooded type of songs.
Okay.
Because we got the new album, we were still mostly figuring out, but we had most of the songs and we knew it was going to be part of that. And the rest of the stuff, we didn't quite have enough for a full album, so we trimmed them down to a good solid EP, just so that we could put something out and not be Tool, keep people waiting.
So I guess I should have asked you this a long time ago. So who is the main vocalist with all? Is it Chris the main vocalist, or?
Well, we're dual vocalists.
So y'all both do it on all songs?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Ultranaut, I sing on that. Well, Chris does harmonies.
And I want to say that's probably one of my favorite songs on that album, by the way. Ultranaut's fucking awesome, dude.
We got some more songs coming like that. That's kind of the vibe of the next album.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And Chris does Animal and Flesh Cutters and Paycheck, and we both did on Non-Human about the same amount. But yeah, it's really not a main backup thing,
Gotcha.
And that's whenever we go and play a gig, the sound guy gets confused by that. It's like, who's the main vocalist? I'm like, oh, we both know. He's like, huh?
You got two people raising your hands right here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in this era of metal, I mean, it's kind of common to see two people sing. I mean, even before Carla Harvey left Butcher Babies, you had her and Heidi, and you got Lacuna Coil, and bands like that have dual vocalists and have had dual vocalists since the inception. So it's kind of like it shouldn't be a unheard of thing at this point to any sound guy. I mean,
Yeah.
So do you guys play? Like I'm saying, did you and Chris both play other instruments too?
Yeah, I play play guitar and I play bass, and I used to play I still have a violin, and it's been a long time. I pulled it out a while ago, and all the hairs had fallen off my bow, and
Oh no.
so like, well, that kind of. I used to play saxophone, but that was only,
Mhm.
I was never good at saxophone. I was
Which
okay
is
at violin.
which is crazy because my wife's kind of she used to play saxophone in the band when she was in high school, and she says it's almost like playing a guitar a little bit. So when you think about
Oh,
the
fretting,
the fretting and stuff, yeah, because she'll pick one up and just be like, I was like, how the hell do you know how to play? Oh, just from playing saxophone. I'm like,
those are all out of order.
Like, what?
You got to go like that. You
I
got
know. It's
to do
like,
one,
Yeah.
so
Like,
I don't know how she kind of converted into that, but I'm like, all right, whatever. I guess it's whatever works.
yeah.
yeah,
But I kind of figured it would be more like playing piano or something, maybe. But
maybe. But yeah, I'm not sure what other instruments Chris plays. I know Zach also plays guitar. Um,
well, I mean, I was mainly talking about for the band, I guess, and because we don't have
oh,
because it doesn't really give us a list of who does what. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The
oh yeah.
information is a little sparse.
yeah.
Ah, well, so I play guitar and I sing. Chris plays guitar and sings.
Okay,
Zach plays drums, and Rob plays bass.
okay, gotcha. That kind of hones us in a little bit better. So,
All right.
but
I got. I have
the-
a.
go ahead.
I've got a quick question, real quick. Anyway, one thing that I noticed about listening to the demo is that there's a song on the demo that's also on the LP under a different name.
Yes, was that grapes?
Grapes, yeah.
And we still call it grapes.
Do you? Okay, because that's the funny thing is, like I say, I completely forgot to listen to the demo until this morning. It's like, oh shit, I better knock this out. Of course, 2 of the 4 songs were already there. Of course, now there's 3. Of course, I didn't know that until I listened to it, and I was like, wait a minute. Because I didn't catch it, and I didn't catch it till the end because I was driving along and I caught it. And I was like, wait a minute. That's a different song. And then I went back and I looked at it. It's technological singularity. I was like, all right, I got to know why the hell it went from one to the other because it's the same song. So
yes. Well, whenever we start making a song, we always come up with a wacky like working title for it.
okay,
And so technological singularity was grapes, and and it pretty much always ends up being food related. So, well, and like corroded globe was pencil sharpener, and we
all right,
we kind of have a tough time actually like remembering which title is the what title because we come up with a working title. It's like, okay, let's play chicken fajitas. All right, which one is that again? Well, that's Mind Plane, or whatever, and yeah, but. Grapes was just kind of a working title, and I kind of think it was like, okay, Grapes isn't too crazy. We could put that out as Grapes, And then when it came time for Heat Death, we're like, I should probably not do Grapes. Doesn't make any sense.
So I'm a big joker. So since none of the other bands on here, you should add that into the set list as like grapes, just to throw them off every once in a while. Or
proceed.
We have it as Grapes. It throws us off when we put it down as technological singularity.
There you go. There you go. Well, whichever way. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, grapes definitely would be shorter on a set list. I mean,
Well, that's true. Yeah.
right there. So
It kind of goes off the end.
It'd be funny too, handing it to some fan. They're like, "The fuck is in here? Nothing about no grapes."
Yeah. I got a bunch of other ones like Satan's Crack Dealer is now level 7, and we're trying to. Which one's that again?
Yeah, y'all will confuse yourself at some point. That's pretty.
I like that because at least it keeps you on your toes though. It's like, all right, pay attention.
Yeah.
Got to cross reference one track list, one track name with the updated track name. I
need to pull out a sheet. Answer.
Well, you gotta decode it. So
yes, yeah,
comes with decoder ring.
Yeah, you need your reptilian decoder ring.
So another thing I noticed too about your guys' albums is the band logo is always different. So is that something you guys are trying to like incorporate with each album? Is kind of incorporate a different logo, or were you just trying to find something that you all could agree on, or what
Well,
was
that's not a
this?
hard and fast rule, but we're kind of going with the vibe of the album a bit. Like for the demo was really early days, and we kind of didn't really have anything nailed down. We hadn't made any shirts, hadn't really done much at all, and we were trying to come up with a thing. And I just found that font, online or whatever. So I was like, okay, here we go. So then Heat Death, we got the digital logo and
Yeah.
kind of fits the thing, and that's been our thing for a long time. And we recently got a new logo design that we really like on the for Cold Blooded there, and that's kind of our new current logo. And I really like that one. I think we might stick with it for a while. So unless something else comes along, we're like, whoa, that's a cool logo. We're certainly not adverse to changing it up, I guess.
So is it whoever did the album cover kind of created the logo to go with it, or
Well, the first one for the demo, the album cover was a painting that a friend of mine did, and I just put the logo on there in Photoshop.
Mhm.
And the second album, I did that logo too. I can't remember his name, but he's an Indonesian guy who designed the album art for Heat Death. That's really awesome. And he drew up a logo that we didn't quite, we love the album cover, but his
Mhm.
logo was like, I don't know if that's quite what we're looking for. So I just whipped that one up real quick. And
Okay.
the on Cold Blooded, we kind of worked backwards from the logo. We had the logo ready, and we found a 3D modeler guy who took it from a flat thing and extruded it and kind of made it look like the 3D metal
Yeah.
thing in the room, and kind of designed it like that. So it was working backwards from the logo.
Yeah, I was going to try to throw it up here real quick if I can. Let me see if it'll let me from here because it's not on.
Let me while he's doing that, let me ask another question about grapes / technological singularity. Are they just now looking at the track times that are listed are off by about 10 seconds? Is it the exact same song?
It should be the exact
Okay.
same. On the demo, we did not record to a click or anything, so we might have just played it a little faster.
Okay.
Or we might have had a longer intro or a longer outro, but all the lyrics are the same, and guitar solo might be slightly different. But yeah, they're the same.
Basically, okay. I'm just making sure because I was gonna say if I have to go back and listen to the two side by side for list for any differences, I will. So
Yeah, it should be two different recordings of the same song.
okay, all right, okay, cool. All right, now we mentioned this earlier in the show, so I mean, let's discuss this real quick now, and we'll talk about upcoming events here in a little bit. But you guys are working together with Dana from Metal and Tats. So
Yes.
how and we've gotten to know Dana pretty well over the last couple, 2.5, 3 years. And, we've live streamed from a lot of his shows, and, we've been out to the house and everything for Krista's birthday, which was really nice. And then, he's got actually next week, he's got his tribute show out there in Tullahoma. We're going to be, by the way, heads up, we're going to be live streaming from Tullahoma next week. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, so we're going to be out there next Saturday night, and we're going to have the show, during the morning, but we're going to go out there and we're going to live stream from there. So we've been working with Dana for a little while now. So how did you guys end up hooking up with Dana?
Well, to be honest, I'm not exactly sure which one Dana is. Chris handles more of the booking side of things.
Oh, okay, all right.
But if I'm does is
Dana
does he do it at the Bring It Back games? Is he that guy?
Dana is Dana and Krista, their husband and wife, and they are the owners and operators of the Metal and Tats Facebook group. and so that's who Dana is. And I know I don't have him pulled up, but I know that you guys are going to be playing a couple of shows in Manchester later on this year. So
Yeah.
down at the church at 117 down there in Manchester. So
Yeah. That's in August. That should be August 16th.
August 16th is one of them. And aren't you guys playing the September 13th show as well? Hang on a second. I will.
I do have that written on the calendar as gig. So
Okay. All right. Well,
that's
all right, well, that's good.
information as I have as far as that goes.
Okay. But I do know, you guys are definitely playing the one, so that's a good thing. All right, hold on.
Yes.
I should have had this pulled up and ready to go. All right, but let's see.
If I'm thinking of the right Dana, I think we met him at the 404 bar,
Probably.
back when we were doing that. I don't even know if the 404 still hosts shows, but
I don't think so. I think we were talking about that a while back. How I don't think they're doing anything anymore. So
yeah, I think the last time we tried to play there, we went there and like, oh, sorry, this place closed because the pipe burst or something, and we're gonna have to postpone salsa night.
That's a shame.
Oh yeah, so I think that's where we first got hooked up with Dana, and then I think Dana's involved with the Bring It Back game shows. We play down in Shelbyville.
I haven't heard that. I'll have to ask him about that.
I may be getting that mixed up with someone else.
Well, I mean that's okay if you are, because I mean I'm sure you guys deal with a lot of organizers and stuff like that. So especially in and around Nashville, I'm sure there's so many people you come across.
Yeah. And I'm a bad with names guy in the first place, so.
Well, I know you guys. I noticed that you guys advertised something for the Cobra coming up. So.
Yeah, we're playing the Cobra this upcoming Tuesday. What is that? What sort of day here? That's the 15th. We're playing with Stone Nomads and Bad Hippie.
Okay.
That should be a pretty awesome show.
That's a cool venue, the Cobra.
Yeah, I do like it.
I mean, it's not a big place, but it's a cool place. That's a neat place.
It's a solid place to play for us. Whenever it's like, oh, we're playing at the Cobra. Okay, so we don't have to worry about the sound system not working. We don't have to worry about, don't have to worry about homeless people wandering in and accosting people. So that's a great venue.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing. And plus, I mean, I don't know where the other guys live, but it's close by too. So
yeah.
That's got to be nice, especially like you say when you're playing on a Tuesday. So not having to drive forever. So
here's that current logo there. So let me get the banner out of the way for a second. So there's the current logo, current EP, and hey, there's all the information for you guys to buy it. Look.
There you go.
Hell yeah, man! Absolutely.
To our website or Bandcamp. We love Bandcamp. Come on over.
Bandcamp's awesome.
Yeah, I always tell everybody if you don't order it straight from the source, then go to Bandcamp and order it. Because if if you're going through somewhere else, you're probably going to wind up paying a little extra, and because somebody else has got to have their hand in a cookie jar. So,
Bandcamp.
And I'd rather I'd rather buy them from a show, honestly, because if I'm paying $15 for it, I know where it's going because I'm paying the band straightforward. I bought a lot of CDs that way. I mean, even from big bands, I think I got my Malevolence, the last album, not the current one, but the last one before it. I think I got it at the show because it was just like, well, I mean, that way I know they're getting the money. So I'm ordering it off of Amazon or eBay or somewhere like that. I mean, hell, I don't know who's getting that damn money. So
right.
Oh, if you're ordering it off of eBay, I guarantee you the band's seeing $0 of that money.
Well, I mean, somewhere along the line, somebody had to purchase it from some reputable source, I guess. But
that's true.
But still, I'm just like, well, why do that when I can go just pay? So they got their money from that one, and now they got extra money from mine. So
straight to the source.
So that's always the best thing to do too.
Yeah. I do like the simplicity of the album here, though. It's just pretty straightforward. I mean, it's kind of
I like how it looks like the blood on the floor is actually from the logo.
That
Yeah.
is true. Yeah, that is cool. Yeah.
Which I mean, it could be. Which I mean, and at the same time, let's be honest. It looks the band's Reptilian. That looks like fangs.
Yeah,
Oh, it does. Yeah.
that's yeah. We actually have two of those versions of that logo, where one of them kind of makes a lizard-looking thing, and yeah, that's kind of the idea behind the logo, is that it's reptilian-esque in its shape, even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and and even with that, it's still symmetrical, which I can absolutely appreciate.
Yes, and it's legible.
That too.
Yes,
There's a lot to be said for knowing the name of the band you're listening to.
yes,
Yeah.
There's a lot to be said for that.
That's you guys aren't too into the death metal stuff, but man, the death metal bands these days, they're leaning into it. They're leaning into the whole Pilot Choice logo.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. The here's our Sagebrush album.
Yes,
It's-
Yeah.
our band font is Tumbleweed.
yeah.
funny.
Speaking
Or
of,
let's see, or ramen noodles.
oh yeah, the ramen noodle pack. Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah,
see one of those bands tonight. I'm going to see Blood Incantation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Where they at?
They're playing at the Caverns.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they're playing with Pallbearer.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see a show there too.
I'm here. I'm glad to see that more heavy metal bands are going down to that venue. I hope to get to a show there because I've been there for a tour. I've seen they actually have an outdoor venue. I've seen it. They have an outdoor amphitheater. I think that they said could hold up to 5K. So I mean it's not a small venue.
Yeah.
But so it's a really nice setup. But I've been on the cave tour. They took us in and they showed us the underground venue. And I think they said if they could get 1,500 in there, I think is what they said, which I mean, it's a decent sized room, and I could see them getting 1,500 people in there. But I can only imagine what the sound is like in there.
Yeah,
so
I'm interested to see.
Yeah,
I've been to the Caverns Amphitheater, the above ground. King Gizzard played there. Oh, it was 2023, I think. They had 4 shows. They did 2 shows in the caverns and 2 shows above ground. I was trying to get tickets to the caverns, but they sold out like immediately. But I was able to get tickets to the above ground. So I've been there, but I just haven't been down into the caverns yet.
Yeah, I know Buckethead either played there recently or is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if that show has happened yet, but yeah, there are more. It's cool to see that, and of course, it's nice to have another venue in the mid-state. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, Pelham it's not prohibitively far from Nashville, but it's it's not close. It's like a couple counties away. But I mean, if you're going to drive down to see Bonnaroo, you could definitely drive down to Pelham to go to a concert there if the right acts show up. So I hope to get down there for a show because I think it would be an experience. Having seen the venue, it would be cool to see a show there.
Just imagine the acoustics in that place, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's like I think War Memorial is probably the most underrated venue in Nashville. But for that reason is because of the acoustics in that place. It's just so unreal. And I don't even know if they're doing shows in that building anymore. But
is that War Memorial T-Pack? Is that the one downtown on 4th?
I think, yeah, it's downtown. I know it's downtown next to like the Capitol and all that other stuff. So.
Yeah.
But man, I seen Kill Switch and Parkway Drive. Oh man, that was freaking amazing. I was just blown away by the way it sounded in there. I'm just like, man, this sounds so good. Like I don't know why no more bands don't come to this location, but maybe it's just a thing where they don't open it up to many musicians. I don't know. But.
I was wondering that myself because I haven't heard of any. I mean, the as far as War Memorial goes, the only thing I ever hear is like when you tell the story about seeing Kill Switch there. I haven't heard of any bands being promoted to play there.
I see something it was a couple of years ago, but it was a country musician. So I mean, they I think they may still do stuff here and there, just not you know just not on the regular.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know, man. It's kind of strange to me because I mean, I feel like if I was, I don't know, I feel like if I was going to book municipal, I would probably just book that instead because I mean, you could hold not hold as many people, but probably as many people as you would fit ticket sale wise in the municipal because nine times out of ten it's not going to sell out there because of the seating and stuff so outdated. But
And the fact that municipal seems to think that you can only use one set of doors and get everybody in the building before the goddamn concert starts.
Yeah, that seems to be a constant problem. You got the line wrapped around the building.
Oh, I was so pissed when Kayla and I went to see Megadeth and Mudvayne. We got downtown in plenty of time, or so I thought.
Right.
Because we parked, we parked at the parking structure right there next to it. Because you got the parking structure, then you got like the bus terminal, and there's a bus terminal right in between, the parking garage and municipal. So the doors opened at 5:30, and I think we got down to the street at like 4:45, something like that. So it's like, there's 45 minutes until the doors open.
Which should be plenty.
Yeah, we got down to street level, and the line, like you said, Jake, was wrapped all the way around the building and wasn't fucking moving. I was like, I'm like looking at my phone, like, okay, doors should be opening any minute now, should be fine. I'm like, okay, doors are open now. Show starts at 6, and I'm like, okay, it's like 10 minutes to fucking 6. I'm not inside yet. I was pissed. Oh, I was so fucking mad. So by the time we got in. By the time we got in and got our seat, I mean, we had great. I mean, I didn't have an issue with our seats. The sight line, we had great sight line. But by the time we got to our seats, All That Remains was half over. I think maybe we heard three songs of their set, which pissed me off because I hadn't seen All That Remains since like 2012, and the amount of stuff that they've put out between then and now. So I mean,
and we interviewed Matt Dice, so you kind of him, but.
They were touring on a new album, and I don't know what they played or what they didn't, because by the time they got to the end of their set, I mean, they were playing some of their hits from earlier in their career. So I don't know what music they played and what they didn't. So I was furious about, and plus I paid to see all three bands, and
right.
Just because you only wanted to open one set of doors, I didn't get to see the entire show that I paid for. And I know for a goddamn fact that there are other doors that you can get in and out of, because I don't know how many minor league hockey games I went to when I first moved there, so I know that there are other entrances and exits that you can use. So the fact that they chose that logistical setup to try to get everybody in there for a show like that, I was fucking furious. So,
yeah, the doors opening is only half an hour before the show.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I heard. I was talking to one of my friends, and they went to that exact same concert and had that exact same experience.
Yeah. So the funny thing is Mudvayne is actually coming back in October with Static X, and it's going to be at Municipal.
Wow.
So and it's going to be on a Saturday night. So you're talking about Saturday night in downtown Nashville.
I'll just be honest with you, man. Like the last time I went to Municipal was for a wrestling show, and like when I sat down in the seats, I'm just like, dude, these seats are small as fuck.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
so I was like crunched up in there because I'm a 250-pound guy, So it's kind of like
that place is old.
It is. It needs to be revamped. I mean, it really does remodeled.
Yeah,
but
man, my day job, I'm a sound guy, and so I go around to all these venues, and I went to Municipal to work on their intercom system. And went up into the catwalk, and man, they've got like these spotlights that are at least like 80 years old. The logo is like the 50s, electrotone or whatever.
Oh my God.
Like,
it was the same one that was shining on the theater where Lincoln got assassinated.
Yes, probably. But yeah, no, that place has got all sorts of
honestly
history, and on the other hand, like, man, this place is old.
I honestly see stuff pop up there, and I'm like, I'm not going to that. I'm not even fighting with it.
That's when I was there.
Even if it's somebody I like to see, I won't go because of the venue. I just don't.
I went to see Mastodon and Gojira there.
Well,
That was a good show.
I take that back. If I can get on the floor, I'll go. But
Yes.
if it's seats, now I'm not going. So
Well, here's the funny
we were
thing.
on the floor when the metal tour came there with Megadeth and Lamb of God. And,
Yeah, well, here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing about that is Kayla was looking up the ticket prices because she was like, oh, I'll get us a couple tickets and that'll be your birthday present. I was like, okay, that's fine. So the funny thing is like the seats in approximately the same place that we sat for the Megadeth show are only $8 cheaper than floor tickets.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I'm like, well, fuck, for $8 fucking extra dollars, we might as well just go ahead and
Go for the floor.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, yeah, just do that for an extra $16 for the pair. Yeah, go for floor. And I told her, I said, well, just make sure we show up an extra hour.
Yeah,
an extra hour early.
The crazy thing about the Megadeth show is the floor seats were cheaper than where you guys were at, which was unreal to me.
Really?
Yeah. When I was looking it up, I'm just like,
huh.
I was like, wow. It's like I paid like 65 something around in there for me and Susie both tickets on the floor.
Man.
Yeah, I think it was like $40, and then all the fees got added on or something.
Well, of course. I mean,
gotta have the fee.
But I mean, it was like that cheap just to get on the floor, and I was just like, and she was just like, well, I really wanted to sit, and I'm like, and I told her, I said, not in that venue, you don't. So, so she's like, well, we'll just go to the floor then, because I kept saying, I said, well, I guess it's maybe they raised the prices for seats because it's convenient. So I don't know. It's like, I guess you're not, because if you're standing the whole time, I guess they figure, well. But it's still closer to the stage, which didn't make sense to me. I don't know. It was kind of weird. It was kind of weird. But like I remember because we were going to get seats, and I was like, "Well, hell, the floor is cheaper. We just go to the floor."
Wow.
So maybe it was a little bit more than that. I think it was like $80-something, but because it was like 40. I think it was like 40, and then some added on stuff a piece. So
yeah.
But
that's an interesting. I would actually like to know the reasoning behind that because that's an interesting kind of 180.
And it always depends on what's going on there and who's. Because when we went to the wrestling show there, those seats were more were more expensive than like being, down a level. Like they were the same price as down a level, which was crazy. So we were the top two levels were all the same price. So I was just like, well, why would you sit up here then if you could get closer down there? I don't know. This will have some crazy pricing concepts too. So. I don't know.
Well,
it's just like the Pinnacle, like that's the newer venue. I don't know if you've been to that one yet, Jake. I love that venue.
I've been to the Pinnacle.
I love it. I love the setup. I mean, shit. I don't.
How do you like the sound?
I do. I like the sound. It's pretty good there. So
I put that sound system in there.
Well, there you go.
See, that's nice. That's awesome.
So yeah. So I mean, I do like everything.
No,
I do like everything about that venue. It's really nice. I like the way they get people in very quickly. I mean, I don't think I've ever waited 15, 20 minutes to get in there. So I've seen 2 shows there already. So it's definitely been like fast. And like, I like the fact that they have the merch downstairs as soon as you walk in. And then they didn't have the coat check the last time we were there, but the first time we were there, they had coat check where you could check your merch in and they'd hold it for you till you left. So you didn't have to, you didn't have to, yeah, you didn't have to carry it around with you. So I was like, I'll pay $15 for you to hold it till the end of the show. Like, hell, man, I ain't worry about, weighing myself down. So that was pretty cool too. I liked it. They didn't have it the last time though for some reason, and the lady said that they hadn't had it the last couple of times. So I'm not sure if that was just a trial thing that they were doing, and then they decided, we're probably not going to do this. But I don't know. Maybe they lost somebody's stuff or got accused of losing somebody's stuff. You know how that goes.
Maybe, yeah. Seems like these things. Everything.
There had to be something going on there, but I do love that venue. It's really, really nice. And like I said, the above stuff up there is more expensive because it's it's seated, but it's kind of they consider it kind of VIP-ish, I guess. But
right, kind of like Brooklyn Bowl, same thing.
Kind of, yeah. Actually, yeah, it's exactly like that, yeah. So, but yeah, I do love the setup there. It's pretty awesome, and it's kind of the thing that got me was the stage was on the top floors, which was kind of weird to me. I'm just like, wow,
yeah,
weird, but.
That's one thing about the backstage area there is that the loading docks are in the basement level. So you have to go down 2 floors to get to the loading docks, and there's no staircase. So there's an elevator and there's a freight elevator. So when the show is over and you're going to load out, okay, it's elevators only to get to the loading dock. So if someone's jamming up the elevator, then you're stuck.
Wow. That's kind of inconvenient, I guess. But
Yeah,
when
that seems a little strange.
Oh yeah, when we were working there and the elevators didn't work, and so I was down at the loading dock and I had to walk out and around the building into the front
Jesus.
door. It's like,
wow.
this is a design flaw.
Yeah.
So how many? I mean, you probably don't know the exact count, but I mean, how many places in Nashville have you worked? I mean, like because have you worked at the Cowan? I mean,
No,
places like that.
I worked at the Cowan, but I worked at the Ryman, the Opry, a bunch of the Broadway bars, a lot of churches, do a lot of church installs. A lot, pretty much been around to most all the venues, if not to do something, then just to look at what they got.
Nice. Have you heard anything about the upcoming like updates that they're going to be doing to Bridgestone? And do you know if they're going to be doing any sound system upgrades there?
No, I don't think so. I think it's all storefront
Okay. All right.
focused. Bridgestone, they have a sound system, but whenever you go and see a show there, it is the band's sound system that you're hearing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Their sound system is just for basketball games and stuff
Hockey
like
and stuff.
that. Yeah, hockey.
Okay. All right.
They don't necessarily
Well, yeah. I mean,
concerts.
yeah, probably adequate for just PA and playing shit from between puck drop and when the goals are scored and stuff like that. Yeah, probably it's just sufficient enough for that. Because I mean, obviously, I've been to tons of hockey games even before I started going to concerts here. But yes, I mean, haven't really had any issues with like the in-house audio that I ever recall hearing. So
They got a nice system for their in-house, distributed stuff. It's just not, concert level, it's all
Sure.
spread out instead of all at the stage.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, so actually that brings up kind of a good thing, since we're talking about this. So, and I've never really paid enough attention to it. So would the in-house audio, considering that everything is a little more, because like when the basketball games or the hockey games are there, because like you say, the concerts bring in their own stuff. So anything in-house, is their stuff going to be set up more in the round because everything is more centrally focused?
Yes.
Is that how the next time I'm up there, I guess I'll pay attention to it. I guess I never thought about it before, but now that we're talking about it, it kind of makes sense that everything would kind of be, so everything is more like up in the rafters, kind of more towards the back walls, focused down towards, I guess, where center ice would be.
No, it's focused outward. So it's like basically at the edge of the floor, they have these clusters basically for every section. They got a cluster for this section, boing, 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 boing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Shooting outwards.
Okay.
So
Nice.
similar,
Okay.
I guess kind of like a firework did, I guess. It's kind of
Yeah, from the central location.
Okay. All right. Like I said, I'd never even really thought to even look up at the ceiling. I guess I never really had a reason to, but I guess that makes sense. Of course, why would I? I mean, why would I?
Games on the floor.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I've seen hockey games. I've seen WWE events, and then of course, WWE probably brings their own shit too. Titantrons and monitors and all that stuff. They probably bring their own.
Oh yeah, they probably show up like a week ahead of time and set up. So
yeah,
knowing how they do their thing. But
so is that what you did out in Kansas? Same thing. I mean, how long you been doing this?
I've been doing AV for a long time. Yeah, I did that out in Kansas on a small scale. It was mostly corporate AV. We would do, sound for charity events, or I need to rent a projector, or I need to rent. We're having an event in the ballroom at the Ramada. Like, okay, we'll be there. But now it's like, okay, I'm working on. Here I am at the Grand Ole Opry, changing out the sound system, and
that's a big difference.
That is a huge leap, yeah. But I mean, you talk about the history at Municipal. I mean, just the history at the Ryman and the Grand Ole Opry. Holy shit! I mean, I guarantee you, there's no electrotone at the Ryman.
No, yeah, they got some good funding there. They keep everything very up to date.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hope so, because I mean, with what I've paid for tickets at some of the events at the Ryman, they better have up to date.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's some nice stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like that, every time I see like a metal band go there, I'm like, that's kind of interesting because it's all seats. It's all seats. It's kind of like, well, nobody's going to be mosh pitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Mastodon and Opeth there, and we were sitting up in the balcony, and Opeth comes on, or Mastodon came on first, and everyone started standing up, and there were some old ladies in front of us. And they were like poking the people a few rows down. They're like, "Hey, sit down, I can't see." Like, it is a metal show.
Place. You're in the wrong place. Yeah.
Yeah. Be prepared to stand up and bang your head or raise your fist or something.
Right.
Don't be sitting down to see Mastodon. I don't care if you're at the Ryman.
That always reminds me of what was it, the Signal that we were at, and
oh yeah, in Chattanooga.
Yeah, Chattanooga, where they had a big sign up that says no moshing or
crowd surfing,
and stuff, and we were at the Exodus Testament and Death Angel show. It was like
Good luck with that.
Two songs in, Mark Osagueda was like, "Where's my fucking pits at, guys?" And then it was so funny because like when I look back at where the pit area was, you can see a security guard just go.
Yeah.
It's like, shit.
Yeah, there was a tangible reaction. Like, fuck me.
I think that was more funny to me than anything was his reaction to Mark saying that. I was just like, that's so hilarious. Like, dude's like, fuck, man. Like, I was trying to get an easy night out of this shit. Like, nah, bro, not tonight.
Well, that's the thing is you and I, we saw the sign coming in, and it's like, did they not?
Exactly.
They not aware of the event they just booked. So
I said that can't be for this show. That can't be for this show.
Well, that's like, that's like talking about Municipal Auditorium. Back when I first moved here in '93, I mean, the Predators were 5 years away from starting, and so I mean, we went to the Nashville Nights, and then they were the night. They were 3 or 4 different things before the Predators showed up, and my brother and I would go, and we would take 3 or 4 friends. So sometimes we went up there with like 6 people, and we were sitting there watching this game, and there was this old couple sitting probably 2 or 3 rows behind us, and this woman had a mink coat on and everything else. And, we're watching the game and we're cutting up, and it's a minor league hockey game. I mean, there's fights every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's maybe 2,500 people in this building, and, we're all in our late teens, so we're not drinking, of course, but I mean, we're in our late teens. We're up there on a Saturday night in Nashville. We're talking shit and, fuck you, you're at a hockey game.
Yeah.
And this woman behind us is like, guys need to watch your language. I said, you need to shut the fuck up and realize you're at a hockey game.
Yeah.
So I mean, so read the goddamn room. I mean, so I mean, come on, man. And so hilarious. I mean, good Lord. Let me ask you this, Jake. I've been listening to you talk during this interview, of course. And do you have some education? It's like some like broadcasting education or anything, or is it just something that you've developed doing vocals all these years? Because I mean,
it's just natural.
Because I mean, if you weren't a singer in a metal band, I mean, you have a hell of a voice for broadcasting. So I didn't know if you had any background in that or not. So
no, I have a nice microphone.
Oh, there you go.
Besides that, nothing fancy besides that.
Okay, well, I mean, hell, I mean, you work. Well, that being said, I mean, the demo and the LP. So, I mean, where were those recorded? I mean, I'm sure you've probably with the job you do. I mean, you probably got a lot of nice equipment. You said you got a nice microphone. I'm assuming you got, soundboards and recording stuff. So, I mean, were you guys a DIY, outfit until the EP came along?
Yeah. I recorded both the demo and the album.
There you go.
Yeah, we rehearse at a storage unit, and so man, you should see all the junk I have there. I have so much audio junk. I'm not, all the people I work with know that I'm an audio junk collector. I have all sorts of just weird junk that is like, before you throw that in the garbage can, let me take that, and then I'll throw it in the garbage can later.
Now, so like, so the stuff that you're, I mean, are you cannibalizing it, or is it just like a collector thing? I mean, so
I like to collect stuff. There's the thing with audio equipment. Are you guys guitar players?
Well,
no,
Are
well,
you aware?
I got a bass guitar, but I haven't played it, but like once or twice since I've had it. So,
Are you aware of like the value of vintage guitars?
yes,
oh yes,
yes.
You know, so audio equipment does not do that. You could buy, it falls off a cliff. You could buy an old, okay, it's 1995. I'm buying the nicest console that's ever been made, and here we go. I'm spending $300,000 on it, and 30 years later,
Whoa.
it's like, hey man, I'll give you $2,000 for that. And he's like, oh yeah, please. So
well, that too is because I think with anything you do electronic wise, probably since the '90s, it's like the following year it's outdated. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, well,
I think it moves so fast with the technology that we have. So,
but at the same
No.
time, even if it's outdated, it worked perfectly fine for the people at the time.
it still amazes me going to shows and seeing all the guitarists with the little hip thing, and they can go all over the stage without a cord on them. It's kind of like I still can't get used to that because I grew up in an era where we didn't have that. So I think it's amazing though, because then you ain't got to worry about tripping each other up and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool how far everything's came.
Yeah.
But it is cool to see them the little hip thing just walking on. It's like, damn, that's crazy, dude. Everything's going through that little bitty box.
Yeah. On one hand, you got your wireless unit that is the most up to date, digital modulated frequency, blah, blah, blah. And on the other hand, you're plugging into an amp that was designed in 1972. And the guitar community will kill you if you try to change anything about it. So it's a real weird, music people and guitar players and audio stuff. It's, keep this old, make this new. We don't like that new. We don't like that old. It's, guitar technology has not advanced pretty much at all in the past 50 years, but, pro audio has, but some aspects of guitar stuff has advanced. But, at the end of the day, like a Marshall half stack is, if you look at it, like take a step back, technology wise, that is technology from the 70s.
Well, it's just like when I went and picked the bass up, I was looking at other guitars and stuff, and I was like, man, I noticed like a lot of those guitars don't have whammy bars anymore. So it's kind of, I guess, because everything's in the foot pedals and stuff now, so they can just
Yeah.
do the things with the foot pedals and not have to worry about whammy bars and stuff. Which, I mean, all that stuff's just so interesting to me. I don't know a lot about it, but it's still interesting to watch how things have changed over the years, from like going to shows. It's just like, man, this seems like so much more, comfortable for the guys, to be able to do certain things and not have to worry about, falling off the stage and hanging yourself with the, amp cable or, I was just like, it's just stuff like this, little things like that is just kind of, just because technology has made it so much better to be able to move around and do more movements with, remember back in the day watching a concert, say you seen Metallica back in the '90s where Jason Newsted was on one side of the stage and Kurt was on the other, and they didn't move.
Yeah.
they had their little area they moved back and forth in, but they didn't swap because
they were tethered. Yeah.
Unless they completely unplugged and moved, they were there. So,
And then there's some guys that still stay on the cable these days. Like, what's the one? Is it the guitar player from Iron Maiden? Is it Yannick? The one guy that the guy on stage left, that was it Dave? Dave left for a while, and then they got Yannick to replace him. Then Dave came back, and they just didn't get rid of Yannick. Anyway,
I think you're right.
That
Yannick is the Yannick's the blonde one.
Yes.
Yeah,
He uses a cable, and he kind of uses it in the act of playing. He'll like strum a chord and then shake the cable as if he's shaking the sound down the cable, and he's like doing all this stuff with it. He's like looping it
Wow.
around, and there's a guy on the side of the stage, taking in more cable and paying more out, and he's got a whole act, 'cause I guess he's a cable guy, and that's his thing. So,
Now, see I mean, that's just somebody who's been like talking about Yannick. That's just somebody who's been really good at what he does for 50 fucking years. That's what that
don't
is.
change it at all.
Yeah, no, don't change a thing.
It's like, no,
Boys,
I'm not upgrading to this damn,
well, I mean,
technology crap. Like,
well, that's just like Nico. Nico was like, nah, I play one kick drum. I don't need double bass. I don't need any of that shit. I play one kick drum. That's all I need. So
Yeah.
well, I mean, I think it's like, that's another thing. Like you brought that up. I noticed like when we were just watching a show a while back, and it's like Trivium and Bullet for My Valentine and all that. Actually, that's the shirt on. But anyway, just bringing that up was because they bring out this drum kit, and it's like, a couple of toms and the cymbals and everything, and then it's kind of a medium sized kit, and then Trivium comes out and it's like it done blew up into like eight more eight more drums. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like that's a big difference. It's like so it all depends. Like Lamb of God's the same way. Like I don't know if you ever seen his drum kit, but Jesus Christ, that's like, man, that's a hell of a drum kit. I don't say how he keeps up with where he's supposed to be hitting. Like people got like 18 damn different toms and stuff. Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah. If you got that big a drum kit, you better be prepared to use it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. Yeah.
That's
at a certain point though, you gotta kind of like where Thomas Hake is now. He's just like, man, if I had to play Blood one more time at my age, or Bleed rather, with from my Sugar, he's like, man, if I had to play that one more time at my age, I think my arms are going to fall off. Because I mean, it's what. Pretty old song at this point, so it's kind of like 15 year plus or whatever, but kind of gotten some age on your old joints, so it's kind of he's kind of like, we need to find something to replace that one, because that was I mean, even when we first heard that song, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like how in the hell did and I think he remember doing a story where he said something like it took him a year to perfect that or something. So
I can imagine,
because he's like he couldn't remember like kind of where he was at. Cause I mean, going so fast with that one, it's kind of like, wow.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I could play drums at the most rudimentary level. I could play like a Black Sabbath song, but man, drummers are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Now, talking about the equipment thing, you were talking about, some of the stuff is, some people are like, we like this the way it was, leave it, and we like this new. So, as an audio guy, what stuff that's new do you? Well, let me ask you this: is there new stuff that you wish was still old because it was easier to use back then, or vice versa? I mean, you deal with this shit on a daily basis. So, I mean, you have some insight to it. I mean, what stuff has advanced that was fine the way it was and didn't really need to be advanced or whatever. So, I mean, your experiences with it.
Well, in the guitar world, I really like the digital modeling stuff. A lot of people, it took me a while to find the right one. I'm a Kemper guy. But the digital modeling is the amp replacement. You don't need your amp anymore. You have your toaster looking thing that makes all your amp sounds. I really like that. But there's never like the silver bullet. Everything is always emulating the old stuff.
Okay.
So the optimal setup is always the old stuff. But do I want to be rolling that stuff into a gig? And it's a lot more convenient to have one. I got my pedal board that does everything, and I plug it into a speaker, and I'm good to go. Yeah, I don't need to have a pedal board and then two different amps, because this amp doesn't have a good clean channel, but this amp doesn't have a good clean channel, and I like to blend them. I can do that all in the Kemper without. There's a good balance to be struck with the new and the old stuff, but at the end of the day, there's no new digital amp that is the new classic.
I can see that. Yeah.
It's always, okay, this is a copy of a Marshall. This is a copy of a whatever. There's not a lot of new ideas.
I'm sure a lot of the bands kind of are glad that happened because it's easier to travel with just a box and a pedal board than it is.
Oh yeah, there's
dragging.
a lot of bands these days,
especially if you're having to fly. I mean, that's.
Oh yeah, there's tons of bands these days that have fly rigs where they can, in the amount of, for like Southwest, you got your 2 check bags. Okay, well I can check my suitcase and my guitar rig. I can check, my suitcase and my bass rig. And I could check the audio guy. I can check a suitcase and the audio rig. You could show up and do a show as long as they have like a sound system for you there already.
Mm-hmm.
You can do your show purely on flying, which is, the old days. It's like, okay, well, let me get a trailer and get all my 10 Marshall stacks, and I'll drive on over there. But yeah,
if I take longer to load than it would be to play, like,
yeah,
yeah. Now, being in a band and being in a metal band and also being an audio guy, have you ever butted heads with somebody like this sounds like shit? Do this, So I mean, you can be honest.
I've never really butted heads with. I've disagreed with certain things, but it's like at the end of the day, it's never been like a decision problem. It's been like, wow, this system sucks. Nothing I can do about that, So it's just like, here we are with this system that sucks. We try to have the majority of our stuff sound good alone. The way we kind of set up is guitar, bass, and drums coming off the stage already sounds good. You don't need the sound guy messing with that. All the sound guy needs to do is put the vocals in, which we don't carry a vocal PA, which is par for the course. No one does that. So we try to give the sound guy the least amount of things to mess with.
That makes
well,
sense.
That's probably good practice in general, even if you're not an audio guy. But I mean, having that experience, you have some insight. So you have the burden of knowledge, is what you.
Yeah.
So you, especially going into a venue, I mean, like the church, coming up in Manchester, in August, and going to places like the Cobra, So I mean, have you ever had to help out an audio guy?
Oh yeah, I've had to help out an audio guy who's like confused as to, oh, this isn't working. Oh well, you didn't plug it in all the way. Here you go. But I try not to be the know-it-all guy. Like, actually, you should have. I'll try to let them do their thing unless they like actually legitimately need help. Then I'll be like, okay, here you go.
You got the red cord in the white hole and the white cord in the red hole. And
that's why that doesn't work.
Yeah. He pulled the IT on him. Did you unplug it and plug it back in?
Yeah. and I've had that happen to me. It's like, why is this working? I've been working on this, and then it's like someone comes over and is like, oh well, you didn't actually plug it in. It's just sitting next to the jack, And so
that's kind of the other day. That kind of reminds me of the other day when I was at work. I was in like one of the ordering systems, and I was trying to put my personal info in I was trying to put the info in for the ordering system into my personal sign in to the computer, and it wasn't working. I'm like, what the fuck is this not working? And I said, oh shit, I'm using the wrong damn login and password. That's why.
Yeah. User error.
Yeah. You're standing there at your work computer going, Metalheads Unite USA. Shit.
Why is it working?
But it was so, even when I was working with corporate Amazon, it had like 30 something windows open at all times because I'm having to look because I was doing data analysis and risk management. So I'm like looking at 20 different things, and at some point you'll be like, wait, it's not, you're not doing this right, or this is not wrong. Then or they'll call you most of the time on their thing, like, hey, why is this not going on? I said, well, did you refresh it? Oh,
Oh.
there it goes. There it goes.
Yeah.
So it's just simple stuff because you get too far. Like I said, sometimes I think a lot of these companies put too much into like everything. It's like and I hate it because they're kind of controlled by government or whatever, saying, "Oh, well, you can't have that because that's a monopoly." So now you got to have 5 companies doing different things instead of having the one company do the 5 things for you, which is kind of dumb in my opinion. But whatever. But it's all a racket for money.
Yeah.
How that goes.
So
but
when do you
yeah,
guys think that on that subject, when is AI taking over the world?
well, I mean,
I hope never.
They got a long way to go, in my
I
opinion.
hope never.
Yeah.
I don't know if you,
moment.
I don't know if you read where they had to dismantle one of the robots because it wasn't following the commands. Well, if only there was a movie that told you that was going to happen.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, we've been talking about this for the last 100 years.
You never seen iRobot? I mean,
never seen any of the Terminator movies?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What are we talking about?
There's been at least 6 Terminator movies to tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, goddamn, can we listen to Sarah Connor for a minute, please?
Yes.
I mean,
truth.
Yeah, I think it'll be kind of helpful in some areas, but yeah, as far as like doing the actual like people were, they're going to take my job. I said, dude, they're not there yet. It's going to be a long time before they get there. I'm telling you.
Yeah, right now they're only stealing people's art.
Exactly,
which is still.
That's going to be the downfall of it right there, probably.
Which to me is almost worse. It's like, okay, they stole your job. Well, I mean, that your job must suck to do then.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the news, but since you brought that up, YouTube just put out a thing saying if anything AI on this channel is getting took off. So
I saw, and
they're taking it all down. I mean,
and there's and I don't necessarily know of this streaming service, but I guess it's kind of like Spotify and Pandora. We may have talked about it on the show before, but it's called Rox, ROXX.
Oh yeah, I've seen that same thing.
Yeah, they're doing the same thing. They're like absolutely no AI. They're like absolutely not. They're like nope.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, I am too. They're like we're getting rid of any that's on here, and if we find any other shit, they're like absolutely not. And I am 100% behind that.
It's common sense.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's just like I said. I guess it's so the thing is like it'd be good for people that they don't abuse it, but if somebody's going to abuse it, they always do.
That's what we fucking do as human beings. Of course,
it's like I like it because like I write all the time, and lyric wise, I could write songs all day long, but I don't play anything, so I can't put it to any music or anything. So if I don't know anybody to write for, plug it into some AI and see what they come up with. You know what I mean? But would I put it out there to make money? No, because I don't. To me, I feel like if you're doing that, then you're putting more pressure on yourself to create a band because at some point they're going to want you to perform this shit. So at that point, you're not really doing anything but hurting yourself in the long run anyway. So.
Yeah. I've seen this thing. It's probably more of a conspiracy theory about like Spotify that I think the theory is that Spotify is they're producing their own AI bands that they take the Spotify catalog and feed it into AI and they generate their own bands. So they're slowly replacing the popular human music with popular AI music so they don't have to pay the humans, even though they barely pay the humans anything.
Right.
And it's just like, wow, is that really the world we want to live in where if you want to hear art, you go to Spotify and it's computer generated art? It's like,
absolutely not. No,
I would like for all streaming services to come up and say, hey, we're a human creator platform. No AI creation tools, will be permitted.
Mm-hmm. I'm 100% behind that.
Can we not band together as humans and say let's be pro-human here?
I really wish we could. I do. I wish we could because I mean, I saw something. What the hell? I'm sure it was on Facebook, but and it was up in. I want to say it was up in Detroit. So I actually may have seen it while I was up there last week, but there was this humanoid robot just walking around town, wasn't doing anything other than just walking around, and people are like, "What the fuck?" People are like, "The hell's that? What's going on with that thing?" So I mean, there was just this robot walking around. So I mean, on the face of it, in a vacuum, you're like, oh, look at that, it's a robot. But I mean, and I keep seeing this stuff where, you know, researchers in Japan have developed an AI face that's got this program that they're teaching it to emote, and stuff like that. It's like, why do we need that? We don't.
Yeah.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I'm like, what the hell do we need that for?
Can we be working on like the Jensen's level, dish cleaning AI? Can we
There
get
you go.
the vacuum cleaner AI?
Yeah.
Let's work on this stuff before we do the humanoid replacement AI.
Well, the funny thing, talking about the vacuum cleaner AI, we have a fucking shark here at the house, and it keeps going up. It keeps getting itself stuck.
Yeah.
So I mean, so we're right on target with that shit.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Maybe let's focus more of our energy on the vacuum cleaner technology instead of the human. Yeah. Art replacement.
That's one of the arguments I always had when I was at Amazon was, we have a site that would always be like, oh, well, the robots are down or whatever. And I was like, okay, well, how much money is that costing you?
Yeah.
Well, the same. I mean, the same thing happened at GM a couple weeks ago. Got a couple of robots that take care of putting together, in loading and unloading. Like it'll load the shell of one of the heads for the engine. It goes all the way around, it gets built, and then once it goes all the way around the circle, it takes the finished head off and puts it on a pallet, and then once the pallet is full, a little teeny tiny little robot picks it up and takes it somewhere. Well, a couple weeks ago, the robots were down for like an entire week, so they had to have people loading a new head, unloading the complete. And I was one of the people that did it. So I was like, so I mean, so I was like, it's easy. You pick it up, put a new one on, take the old one off, put it on a pallet. So I mean, you just off of one pallet onto another, and I did that all night. And I was like, I guarantee you, I'm cheaper than those fucking robots that are
right
now. Nothing
especially now that they're broke. It's like,
a couple of overgrown paperweights at this point. So I mean, it's just it is what it is. So, I mean,
I know, like
where do you find the balance, really? Because I mean, I'm sure there could be a good balance.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's the jobs that no one wants to do, but this kind of gets into a political discussion where but yeah, if you have all the jobs that humans don't want to do, porta potty cleaner guy.
Yeah.
We can replace all those jobs and have robots do them. Let's start, phasing the humans out of the stuff that we don't want to do. Let's keep the stuff that we do want to do intact. I think that's the balance once we, okay, all the dangerous coal miner job.
Sure.
Okay,
yeah.
we don't have to have anyone die in coal mining accidents anymore.
Right.
Let's replace that. Or maybe we could not use coal at all, but anyways, it's a huge discussion, but to me that's like, let's keep the humans doing the stuff that the humans want to do. I think we take priority.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should. I mean, and not just talking about art. So yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. Talking about GM, I mean, there are robots there doing jobs that the robot with the exception being that robot that broke down, because like I say, I was doing the job. I was doing the robot's job, and just give me 30 minutes to eat some lunch, and I'll just keep doing it. So I mean, it's the next guy comes in and he'll do it. So I mean, there are jobs obviously in there where the robot can do it faster, but can do it safer. So that I totally understand, because then because if a robot is doing a job that's safer for them to do, then if the robot breaks down, you're not the robot isn't hurt. So it's like, all right, get the maintenance in here, let them fix the robot so that we can keep going. So like I say, I totally understand it at some point, and from a manufacturing perspective, because I mean, I'm sure, Jason can relate to with Amazon and stuff like that. But this whole, the way some of these people are looking at it and how they want it to get to, they want it to be like, where we all end up like the humans in Wall-E, where we're just melting into a floating chair and everything is doing shit for us. And, our joints don't work anymore and all this other stuff because we're never fucking moving. So,
well, the whole thing with society is the people in charge want you to be lazy and not think for yourself. That's the thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, and however they can get you to do that is how they're going to do it. So
it's true. So, but that's where Jake says, I mean, we gotta, we kind of gotta, band together a little bit and be like, nah, we don't want any of this.
Yeah.
So.
No, just and I always I always laugh because I see a lot of those movies and stuff where they're shooting at the robots and all that stuff. I said, why ain't y'all just firing a hose on a water hose?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. All you need, you just need
or it lasts out, man. Like,
are they I-57?
You just need water cannons. That's what you need. So.
Water guns, water guns.
Yeah.
Anyway, we gotta go.
Or either walk around drive around with water cannons, or just get some really strong magnets.
There you go, magnet.
Jake talking about all the differences with all the sound equipments and all that stuff. It almost reminded me. I was like, man, him and Vinny would get along really well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just he's always doing unpacking something new on his website.
Yes,
oh, cool.
Yes, he is.
He's like, oh, check this little thing out. And
he is.
And I think there was a web developer and the other guy was IT guy. So
yeah,
so
you're talking about
Ashes Rain. Yeah, they kind of do.
Talking about Vinny and John. Yeah,
Vinny and John. Yeah, so they kind of do their.
I'm sorry, Vinny and Ryan.
Ryan. Yeah. They kind of do their own thing with all their stuff. I mean, they even had like this idea. They put the QR code in their CD so they could tell where it got sold and all that kind of thing. I was like, man, that's pretty cool. Because that lets you know where you can play because that's where your fans are. So I was like,
they've got their they basically have their real time analytics that they can keep an eye on.
That's pretty cool.
Wow. So Jake, you got a show coming up this week at the Cobra, and we already talked about the show coming up in August in Manchester. What else does Reptilian have scheduled, if anything? What else you guys got going on?
Well, I'm not sure how much we have currently confirmed, but I can tell you that we are working on booking a tour at the end of this year, kind of in November. We will be doing, or we're going to be going across the Midwest type of area in the South. So we'll be coming relatively near to a good amount of people.
Nice. Heading, I'm sure playing in Nashville again, and then
we're playing Nashville. I think we're planning on playing St. Louis and Kansas City, and I think Cedar Rapids.
Oh, there you go.
Chicago, nice. Maybe.
Oh, see, there you go. Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, we'll definitely keep an eye out for that tour announcement, and when it comes out, we'll share it all across the Metalheads Unite social media. So awesome. Absolutely. Yep,
and I'm going to get futuristic here since we were talking about all the AI stuff, but I'm just kidding. But you said you guys had a lot of stuff, ready to go, start recording an album or anything. Are we talking like 26? I'm guessing early 26, maybe.
Yeah. Well, we want to start recording it this year, and we don't want to rush it. So, sure. And we all got full-time jobs,
right?
Yeah. So it's not like
So probably like a year out or so.
Maybe not a year from now, but probably sometime next year. It'd be really great if we could get it out before the end of the year.
Yeah. Pull a Extinction AD on us and have a full length and an EP in the same year.
Hey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or well, hell. Or like he was like Jake said early in the show, King Gizzard and the Lizard.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. We could make a bunch of albums that sound bad, so maybe we should just do that. That'd be easy.
Yeah, listen to this one with no guitar.
Yeah.
That's
Now the demo took almost no time to record. We can make them all sound like the demo.
Well, I mean, the demo wasn't really that bad, though. I mean,
it wasn't bad.
It was,
No, of course
yeah.
it was definitely better than some of the stuff I've heard. We got to turn on some stuff, and I'm like, dude, this motherfucker sounds like he's stuck in a trash can somewhere. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
fucking Oscar the Grouch was the guy mixing and mastering the album.
yeah, I guess. What's crazy is like some of these bands I see like that, and they're like 5 albums in, they still sound like that. I'm like, why would you try to sound like that on purpose? I have no idea. But,
well, Metallica did put out Saint Anger. So
how do you play that live? Is like you're in a box or something, and nobody just sees you on a screen, or I don't know.
Yeah. You get a dumpster on stage and you have cameras inside of it.
Oh, there you go.
The waste management drum cam.
Yeah.
Did you hear fans saying that show was trash? But
oh shit! Yeah. Some of the jokes, right? Some of the jokes write themselves.
I know they do. They do. So, but anyway, before we wrap this up, Jake, tell everybody where they can keep up with you guys or get merch and all that good stuff.
Well, we're on all the social media platforms, Instagram, and I think we're on TikTok and Facebook. Come on by. We got a YouTube channel too, so we got some videos on there. And if you were looking to listen to music, we're on all the streaming platforms. And if you want to really support us, go over to Bandcamp and buy the music.
Yep.
Or our website. That'll direct you to the best places to buy our music and our merch. And you can go to our website to check out all the shows we're playing coming up. And that's the centralized hub for the Reptilian information.
Then show up at the show. Then show up at the show and buy the merch there.
And that's another option too.
Yeah, right there. I mean, well, I would say cash in hand, but I mean, I know a lot of people don't use cash. I'm about to start using cash a little more.
Yeah.
Tired of I'm getting tired of all these fucking 3%
fees. I used to go and when I got paid, I used to take $100 out for.
I think I'm going to go back to that.
For just if I stopped by fast food or whatever.
I'm thinking about going back to that.
And then, that was for my weekly, kind of.
Your allowance?
Well, yeah, I guess, kind of, sort of. But, if it turned into gas, last, right before another pay period or something, if I still had some, I'd just throw it in a gas tank or something. But, it's always good to have it, But,
yeah.
Hell, I actually was somewhere, I don't remember where it was. It was actually a store. I think it was out near my son's house because he lives kind of out in the country, and there was like a little country store out there, and they said, "Oh, we only take cash." I'm like, "Wow, okay." And I never heard that before, but okay.
Nice.
So
yeah,
luckily I had $16 to pay for my $15 sandwich. But
you guys ever used to go to Mas Tacos in East Nashville?
I've never been there.
Oh man, they only took cash, but all of the items came out to a round dollar amount post-tax. So it's like, okay, you got 2 tacos and drink, $9. Okay, here's $9. Okay, no change. Thank you.
Wow, that's nice.
That's a great setup. I like that.
Maybe we should switch the world to that. I could
just price everything to where it comes out even with the taxes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the rest of the world does that besides America.
I would love that so much.
There you go.
Sign me up for whatever constitutional amendment that would be. Hell yes. I'd be all in for that.
We get shot down at the Senate or something.
Yeah, of course it would.
We got more important things, man.
Yeah, we got more important things to ruin.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you guys check out Reptilian coming up in Nashville this. Any folks who are local, check out Reptilian this week, and check out Reptilian down in Manchester in August. Like I say, keep your eye out. We will be posting their tour announcement when it comes out. If you don't see it on their social media first.
We appreciate it, Jake. Appreciate you spending your morning with us. I know it's.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to say that because most of the time we're like, good evening because we're usually across the pond.
Oh yeah, we're in Europe somewhere, but yeah.
So it's like I said, it's always good to promote Nashville music, and that's kind of what we're here. So we would love to promote more of that. We've got
absolutely.
I think it's fourth band from Tennessee maybe we've had on here somewhere around there.
I think so.
So it's really cool to be able to promote stuff from your home state. So
Yeah,
always appreciative of you guys taking your time to talk with us. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
and then hopefully we get the new album out. We'll bring you back on and we'll talk.
Absolutely.
Talk
Hell
about
yeah.
that one. Talk about that one too, man. Maybe Chris and everybody can kind of join in too and
Yeah.
get some different perspectives. So
Excited for that.
yeah.
Yep. We look forward to it. Open invitation to come back anytime, you guys.
Absolutely, man.
Copy that. I'll be back next week.
All right. We got you.
We might take you up on that. We don't have an interview scheduled for right now.
All right.
We'll send you an email. Jake, you busy?
Yeah, hey, let's just chat.
Yeah.
That's how we try to just set this up. Just shooting the shit. That's how we try to do it.
I'm here for it.
All right.
Jake, man, we appreciate you, and hopefully you guys sell out everything Reptilian coming up.
Damn right.
Yep, I'm sure we will.
Well, if we got anything to say about it, we're damn sure going to help you. So
We're gonna help the best we can.
All right.
man, you have a good day, Jake. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
Have
guys.
a great weekend, Jake. Take care, man. Hell yes.
Jake, guitarist, vocalist for Reptilian.
Not only a
Nashville's own.
That's right. Not only a domestic band, but a Nashville domestic band
There you
from an hour up the road.
go. Yep, not far at all. So actually,
Depending on where you live, like an hour up the road from us.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's
so
right.
Definitely,
Yeah, but
definitely if you're in Chattanooga or Memphis, it's a longer way. But
yeah, but that's that's the weird thing though, is like if you're anywhere in Tennessee, you are 3.5 hours. You're really like, well, unless you're going from Memphis to Knoxville, but like anyone who wants to come like check out a show in Nashville, you're 3.5 hours away from Nashville at the most. I mean, you can do a concert in a day. You and I should know because we crammed ourselves into that fucking Mustang and drove to Knoxville.
oh my god, that was horrible,
Knoxville
dude.
back night, so.
That was fucking horrible. I learned then I was not a sports car guy.
Yeah,
it
can be done. So, well, hell, we drove down to Chattanooga and back in a night. So I mean, it can absolutely be done. So
in Atlanta in a night. So I mean,
yeah, but it's good. Tennessee is actually set up pretty well geographically. Like I say, if you're going from Memphis to Knoxville, I mean that's 6.5, maybe 7 hours, depending on traffic and stuff like that. But I mean, here in Nashville, in the mid-state, we're in a really good spot because I mean, anyone can come up from Alabama, people can come down from Kentucky. So I mean, anyone watching the show who wants to come check out Reptilian from Alabama or Kentucky, you have no excuse. You got no excuse. So, I mean, from Bowling Green, Shepherdsville, Elizabethtown, Louisville, any of those towns along I-65,
4 hours or less.
yeah, even Birmingham and Huntsville, Florence, you don't really have any excuse. Get your asses up here.
All right, guys, if you don't know, or if you've been not watching the show for some reason, why the hell have you not?
I don't know.
But you probably know that we do have a 24/7 streaming radio station. And you can stream that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week over at stream.trulyradio247.com/8008/stream.
That's right. You can email us at metalheadsuniteusa@gmail.com. Send us any requests for anything that you might want to hear on said radio station that is playing right now. That's why it's 24/7. So listen to the radio station, take a break at 10 o'clock on a Saturday, and then at 12:05 or 12:30, you can start listening to the radio station. So you don't have to listen to it 24/7. It's available 24/7.
That's right.
And then also follow us on all of the social media platforms. We are on Facebook, our Facebook group and our Facebook page, on X, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitch, our YouTube channel, Rumble, and follow us on Spotify for all of the rebroadcast of the interviews and for all of our playlists that we put together. The themes of the week, the weekly playlists. I mean, there's Metalheads Unite heavy metal playlists galore at this point.
Yeah, we've saturated the market. So
yes.
All right, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed that interview. As far as for now, we don't have anything set up for next week, but it's possibly in the works. We just haven't heard anything
Working
back.
on it.
We do have something set up for the 26th, so we will
That's
have
right.
an interview that day. So,
Yep.
So be prepared for that. And
So,
sorry
yeah.
for the noise. Vacuum cleaner's going, and the dog does not like that. So,
Funny.
anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the interview with Reptilian. And then that will also be available on Spotify and Rumble at a later date. Everywhere else it's available right now on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and X and all those places. You can go back and watch it. As soon as we're done.
Yep.
Anyway.
Shout out to Hank. Shout out to Hank
Yeah.
Hill.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I mean, Hank Hill is retired now, so he's got nothing but
That's
time
That's
to
nothing.
check out his show on YouTube.
Get
I'll
your
tell you what. So
metal and metal accessories.
that's right.
Anyway, hopefully we'll see you guys back here next week. Same time, same channel.
That's right.
Until then, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.
Have a great week, you guys. Thank you.